Welcome to Elder Zen. Hit subscribe for simple health tips made just for seniors. Stay tuned. Your next great day starts here. Let's pause for a moment and consider something we rarely talk about openly: how our bodies change as we get older, especially after the age of 60. It's easy to brush aside small changes in our weight as just part of life's journey. Maybe you've noticed your clothes fitting a little tighter. Or perhaps you found yourself getting winded a bit faster than you used to. Maybe your doctor has gently mentioned watching your weight, or a family member has nudged you to join them on a walk. But rarely do we think about how those extra pounds, so common as we age, can quietly and powerfully affect something far more serious: the risk of a pulmonary embolism. Now, let's be honest. For most of us, weight is a sensitive subject. Our bodies have carried us through decades of ups and downs, childhoods, careers, parenthood, triumphs, and challenges. They have weathered stress, change, and sometimes even a little neglect. So, it's only natural for weight to fluctuate over the years. But what many people don't realize is that as those numbers on the scale creep up, so does the risk for certain silent and potentially life-threatening conditions. Today, I want to invite you into a gentle but important conversation. Imagine this. You're enjoying your retirement, perhaps spending time with grandkids, tending the garden, or planning a long-awaited trip. Everything seems to be going well. But underneath the surface, your body might be sending signals that shouldn't be ignored. Carrying extra weight, especially after 60, not only puts added strain on your heart, joints, and blood sugar, but it also makes your blood more likely to form dangerous clots. And those clots, if they travel to your lungs, can trigger a pulmonary embolism, a condition that often arrives without warning but can change your life in an instant. So, why does this risk increase with age and weight? The answer lies in how our bodies work. As we grow older, our metabolism slows down, our activity levels sometimes drop, and we may face mobility challenges that keep us from being as active as we once were. All these factors can lead to gradual weight gain, and with every extra pound, your veins work harder to push blood back up to your heart. Blood can pool, especially in the legs, creating a perfect environment for clots to form, particularly if you're sitting or lying down for long periods, such as during recovery from surgery or after a long trip. It's not just about vanity or fitting into old clothes. It's about protecting your independence, your energy, and your ability to live life on your terms. Pulmonary embolism is a medical emergency, but the good news is that so much of the risk can be reduced simply by understanding how weight plays a role, and by making a few realistic, manageable changes. But I want to make something clear right from the start. This is not about blame or shame. It's about empowerment. No matter what the scale says, you deserve to feel strong, safe, and confident in your own skin. Small steps can lead to big changes. Every bit of effort you put in now pays off. In more days spent doing the things you love, surrounded by the people who matter most. In this video, we'll dive into the science of how weight affects blood flow and clotting. We'll talk about real-life stories from seniors who faced this challenge and found ways to reclaim their health without extreme diets or impossible routines. We'll explore simple habits, gentle exercises, and clever tricks to keep your blood moving, your heart happy, and your future bright. And most importantly, we'll learn how to listen to our bodies, spot the warning signs early, and take action before a small problem becomes a big one. So, as you settle in, maybe with a warm cup of tea or a cozy blanket, remember, this conversation is for you. Whether you're concerned about your own health, looking out for a loved one, or simply curious about how to stay safe and vibrant after 60, you're in the right place. Let's face this together with kindness, honesty, and hope. Ready to learn how weight, age, and your everyday choices can shape your risk for pulmonary embolism and how you can take control, starting today. Let's begin this important journey together. Let's move forward and dig a little deeper into how and why extra weight can quietly raise your risk for pulmonary embolism as you age. You may be surprised to learn that the connection isn't just about appearance or even about how you feel. Walking up a flight of stairs, it's a matter of how your body works behind the scenes day in and day out, often without you even noticing. First, consider this. Our blood vessels are like highways for the body's lifeblood. When we're carrying extra weight, those highways can become a little more congested. The heart has to pump harder to keep blood moving through additional tissue, and as we age, this extra workload can make circulation less efficient. This is especially true for the veins in our legs. Over time, the valves in those veins, the tiny doors that keep blood flowing upward, can become weaker. Combine that with more pressure from the outside extra body weight pressing on veins, and suddenly blood isn't returning to the heart as easily as it should. Now, when blood sits still for too long or moves too slowly, that's when clots are most likely to form. Imagine traffic on a busy highway slowing to a crawl. The longer those cars are stuck, the higher the risk of an accident. In your body, the accident is a blood clot, something that can start small, but if left alone, may break off and travel to the lungs, blocking oxygen and turning a peaceful day into a true emergency. But let's not just talk about the problem. Let's look at the real-life situations where this risk grows, especially for seniors. For example, have you ever found yourself less active during the colder months or after an illness or surgery? Maybe you've noticed a tendency to sit longer, relax more, or avoid strenuous activity because of sore joints or fatigue. It's these quiet stretches of inactivity, paired with the natural effects of aging and carrying extra weight, create the ideal conditions for clots to form. There's also a subtle impact of weight on your body's chemistry. Fat tissue doesn't just sit there. It's active, releasing hormones and inflammatory chemicals that can actually make your blood more likely to clot. And if you live with conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, or high cholesterol, all of which are more common in people, with higher weight, the risk only goes up. Let's pause and think of a real story, a story that might sound familiar. Picture Mrs. Anderson, age 68, who always enjoyed baking and sharing meals with her grandchildren. After her retirement, she gained some weight and, over time, found herself spending more hours on the sofa. After a bout of the flu, she felt a little more tired than usual. Her left leg was a bit swollen, but she assumed it was just from being less active. When she suddenly became breathless while folding laundry, her daughter called for help. The doctors found a pulmonary embolism, a clot that had traveled from her leg to her lung. Thankfully, she received treatment in time and made a full recovery. But her story is a reminder that small changes in activity, combined with weight and age, can add up quickly. So what does this mean for you or your loved ones? It means being proactive and listening to your body. Don't ignore subtle swelling, sudden breathlessness, or unexplained pain in your legs. These can be your body's early warning signs. And don't be discouraged if you feel like you have a long way to go. Every small step, every bit of movement, and every positive choice counts. In our next segment, we'll explore practical, gentle ways to keep your blood flowing and reduce your risk no matter your starting point. Because, at the end of the day, this isn't about chasing perfection. It's about protecting your health, one mindful moment at a time. So stay with me as we continue this journey, because you have the power to write the next chapter of your health, starting today. As we move deeper into this important topic, it's essential to remember that your body is constantly communicating with you. Sometimes, the signals are bold and impossible to ignore, like sharp pain or severe shortness of breath. But far more often, especially when it comes to the risk of pulmonary embolism in seniors who carry extra weight, your body whispers instead of shouts. So let's talk about what those whispers sound like and how you can tune in before a minor issue becomes a major emergency. For many older adults, the first signs that something is wrong don't feel dramatic. You might notice that you're a little more tired than usual, or that it takes longer to recover after a walk around the block. Perhaps your ankles or calves are swelling at the end of the day, or your shoes feel tighter, but you chalk it up to the weather or to sitting too long. Sometimes there's a dull ache or heaviness in just one leg. Nothing excruciating. Just an uncomfortable feeling that lingers. But here's what you need to know. Any new or unusual swelling, warmth, redness, or pain, especially in only one leg, deserves your attention. Why? Because blood clots almost always start small, and these subtle symptoms are your first clue. If you notice these signs, don't hesitate to check your legs. Compare both sides and gently press on any swollen area. Is it warm to the touch? Does the skin look redder or shinier than usual? Is the swelling only on one side? All important clues that your body is giving you. But the story doesn't end there. Pulmonary embolism often presents with more than just leg symptoms. For many seniors, the first sign that a clot has moved to the lungs is a change in breathing, a sudden shortness of breath when climbing stairs, talking on the phone, or even just moving from one room to another. Sometimes, the heart may start to race, or you might feel faint or dizzy, as if you're about to pass out. Chest discomfort can be another warning. Not always sharp pain, but sometimes a feeling of tightness, heaviness, or pressure that gets worse when you take a deep breath. Let's pause for a moment and imagine a real-life scenario. Picture Mr. Johnson, age 72, who recently lost a few pounds and started walking again after a winter indoors. One afternoon, he felt a twinge in his calf, but thought nothing of it. Over the next few days, he noticed he was short of breath walking to the mailbox. His daughter, visiting for the weekend, noticed the swelling in his lower leg and convinced him to call his doctor. That quick action led to a prompt diagnosis and treatment, preventing a potentially deadly pulmonary embolism. These stories are not meant to frighten you, but to empower you. Too often, seniors blame just getting older for every ache, pain, or change in energy. While aging does bring changes, it's important not to ignore new symptoms, especially if you carry extra weight, have a history of clots, or have other risk factors like high blood pressure, diabetes, or limited mobility. So what should you do? If you notice these subtle warning signs, first, don't panic, but don't wait either. Contact your healthcare provider, describe what you're experiencing, and ask if you should be seen for a possible clot. If you suddenly have trouble breathing, experience chest pain, or feel faint, especially if these symptoms are new or severe, call emergency services immediately. Remember, when it comes to blood clots, every minute counts. Let this be your gentle reminder. Listening to your body, trusting your instincts, and seeking help early are acts of courage, not weakness. You've earned the right to live your golden years with confidence, health, and peace of mind. And the more you know, the more you can do, not just for yourself, but for everyone who loves and depends on you. Stay with me, because in the next segment, we'll explore practical, achievable steps to lower your risk and build a lifestyle that keeps you active, safe, and thriving, no matter your age or your starting point. Your story is far from over. In fact, the next chapter could be your healthiest yet. Now that we've explored how your body signals trouble, let's turn our attention to the power of everyday choices. Because here's the encouraging truth. You don't need a dramatic overhaul to protect your health. In fact, simple, steady changes in your daily routine can have a powerful impact on your risk for pulmonary embolism, especially if you're carrying extra weight after age 60. Let's start with movement. You might think, I'm not a gym person, or it's too late for me to start exercising. But the beauty of movement is that it's for everyone, at every age. And it doesn't have to mean running marathons or sweating through intense workouts. Just standing up every hour, walking around your living room, doing gentle stretches, or marching in place while you wait for your tea to brew. These are all small actions that get your blood moving. And remember, your calf muscles are like tiny pumps, sending blood back up to your heart with every step. Even a short walk to the mailbox or a few laps around your home can help prevent blood from pooling in your legs. But movement is only part of the story. Hydration is just as essential, especially for seniors and anyone with extra weight. When you're dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker and more likely to clot. So, make it a habit to keep a glass of water nearby and take sips throughout the day, even if you don't feel thirsty. Try flavoring your water with a slice of lemon or a splash of juice if that helps you drink more. Herbal teas, low-sugar drinks, and even soups all count toward your daily fluid intake. Of course, nutrition plays its role as well. You don't need a complicated diet to make a difference. Focus on adding more fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins to your plate. Foods rich in fiber not only help with weight management, but also keep your heart and circulation healthy. Reducing processed foods and watching salt intake can help manage blood pressure, further lowering your risk for both heart disease and blood clots. Another tip: keep an eye on your weight, but don't obsess over the scale. Aim for gradual, sustainable changes. Even losing a small amount of weight, just 5 or 10 pounds, can lighten the strain on your veins and reduce your risk. Celebrate every small step forward and don't be discouraged by slow progress. Health is a journey, not a race. Now, let's talk about routines. Our daily lives are shaped by habits, good and bad. Why not make healthful habits easy and automatic? Place a reminder note on your favorite chair to stand and stretch. Set a timer on your phone or TV for a quick movement break every hour. Join a friend for regular walks, or make it a family affair. Share your goals with loved ones so they can cheer you on and hold you accountable. And don't forget your healthcare team. Regular checkups are a chance to review your medications. Check your blood pressure and discuss any changes in your health or mobility. If you have a history of clots, make sure your doctor knows. Ask about the need for compression stockings during travel or recovery. And follow advice about blood thinners or preventive medicine after surgery or hospital stays. Finally, remember that emotional wellness is just as important as physical health. Loneliness, stress, or depression can make it harder to stay active and motivated. Reach out, connect with friends, join a class, or volunteer. Community, laughter, and purpose are all powerful medicines. As we wrap up this segment, take a moment to check in with yourself. What's one small step you can take today to move more, drink more water, or nourish your body? No matter your age, weight, or past habits, it's never too late to choose health. Every decision, no matter how tiny, writes a new page in your wellness story. Stay tuned, because in our next segment, we'll talk about real-life success stories and the empowering results that come from listening to your body and building healthy habits one day at a time. You have more control than you think, and your best days are ahead. To bring these lessons to life, let's shift our focus from theory to reality.
After all,
sometimes the best way to understand a health challenge and the path to overcoming it is through real stories from real people. These stories remind us that we're not alone in facing obstacles, and they show just how much can change when you decide to make small, positive choices every day. Let's begin with Eleanor, age 72. For years, Eleanor had struggled with her weight, often feeling embarrassed or overwhelmed by the prospect of change. She loved reading and spending quiet afternoons with her grandkids, but rarely found time for exercise. After a minor surgery, Eleanor's doctor warned her about the risk of blood clots, especially with her current weight and decreased activity. At first, she shrugged it off, telling herself that these warnings didn't apply to her. But one afternoon, after watching a movie with her family, Eleanor noticed her left calf was swollen and a little sore. Her daughter insisted on a checkup. The result? A blood clot had formed, but they caught it early before it could travel to her lungs. Eleanor's story didn't end in crisis, and that's the most important takeaway. Instead, it became the turning point she needed. With her family support, she started making gentle changes, walking for 5 minutes every morning, drinking more water, and slowly building up to longer strolls around the neighborhood. Not only did her energy improve, but her confidence soared. Her grandkids even joined her for walks, turning exercise into a joyful, shared ritual. This isn't just about one woman's journey. It's a lesson for all of us. When you open up about your struggles, whether it's weight, mobility, or simply staying motivated, you create space for support. Your friends, children, grandchildren, and neighbors may be facing similar issues. When you share your goals, even the smallest ones, you invite others to cheer you on and, sometimes, to join you. Now, let's turn to Robert, age 80, who had always been fiercely independent. He preferred doing things himself and hesitated to ask for help, even as his health changed with age. After a frightening episode of breathlessness that landed him in the hospital, Robert realized that pride can sometimes get in the way of progress. During his recovery, he reluctantly joined a local walking group for seniors. What began as an obligation quickly became the highlight of his week. The group shared stories, swapped recipes, and encouraged each other to keep moving rain or shine. Not only did Robert's stamina improve, but he discovered the value of community. The laughter, the accountability, and the comfort of knowing he wasn't alone. Why do these stories matter so much? Because health is never just about the body. It's about connection, mindset, and the small choices you make every day. Maybe you're someone who prefers quiet, solo walks, or perhaps you thrive on group activities. Either way, reaching out. Whether to a friend, a fitness class, or an online support group can provide the motivation and companionship that makes new habits stick. And let's not forget the importance of celebration. Every time you choose to stand up and move, to take the stairs, or to say yes to a neighborhood walk, you're rewriting your story. Share your victories, big or small, with your loved ones. Each step forward, each ounce of progress is worth honoring. And if you stumble or lose momentum, remember, tomorrow is always a new opportunity to try again. In closing this segment, think about whose story inspired you. Could you be the next Eleanor or Robert in your family or community? By sharing your journey, asking for support, and celebrating every milestone, you're not just improving your own health, you're building a powerful network of encouragement and hope for everyone around you. So as we move into our final segment, keep in mind that your story matters. It can light the way for others and remind us all that together we are stronger, healthier, and more resilient than we ever imagined. Stay with me, and let's discover what lasting change really looks like. Now that we've seen how real people like Eleanor and Robert changed their lives, let's get down to the nuts and bolts. What can you do, starting today, to lower your risk of pulmonary embolism by managing your weight and staying active even after 60? Sometimes, advice about weight or health can sound overwhelming or even discouraging. But remember, you don't have to run marathons, join fancy gyms, or completely overhaul your life overnight. The best progress comes from small, steady steps you can stick with, tailored to your own needs, likes, and lifestyle. Let's begin with movement. You might be surprised to learn that even gentle, regular activity can have a huge impact not just on your waistline, but also on your blood circulation and heart health. If you're not sure where to start, begin with something as simple as a daily walk. Maybe it's 5 minutes to the mailbox and back, or a gentle stroll around your garden, or even walking in place while watching your favorite TV show. Every bit counts. Over time, those 5 minutes can become 10, then 15, then a full neighborhood circuit. The key is to find activities you genuinely enjoy, so movement feels like a reward, not a punishment. But maybe you can't get outside, or walking isn't easy for you right now. That's okay. There are plenty of chair exercises, light stretches, or even gentle yoga routines you can try indoors. Many local senior centers and online platforms offer free or low-cost classes designed just for older adults with easy-to-follow instructions and encouragement. If you have health concerns, talk to your doctor or a physical therapist first. But don't let fear of injury keep you from getting started. Sometimes, just stretching your legs, rotating your ankles, or standing up from your chair a few extra times a day can keep your blood moving and reduce the risk of dangerous clots. Of course, movement is only part of the equation. Let's talk about nutrition and simple changes you can make to support a healthy weight. As we age, our metabolism slows a bit, and it's easy for extra pounds to creep on. Instead of focusing on strict diets, try adding more color to your plate. Fresh fruits, leafy greens, vibrant vegetables, and whole grains are packed with fiber and nutrients, helping you feel full without extra calories. Cut back on sugary drinks and processed snacks, swapping them out for water, herbal teas, nuts, or a piece of fruit. And here's a powerful tip. Don't try to do it all alone. Involve your family, friends, or neighbors in your health goals. Invite a friend for a weekly walk or set up a healthy recipe swap with your grandchildren. Celebrate small victories together, a week of regular walks, a new vegetable you tried, or a favorite shirt that fits a little better. When you make health a shared activity, it becomes more fun, less lonely, and a whole lot more sustainable. Staying hydrated is another essential part of keeping your blood flowing smoothly and supporting weight management. Older adults often lose their sense of thirst, so keep a water bottle handy, sip throughout the day. And choose water-rich foods like cucumbers, berries, or melons. Even setting a timer or jotting a quick note on the fridge can help remind you to drink up. It's also important to be kind to yourself and practice patience. Weight management is not a race, and every journey is unique. Don't get discouraged by small setbacks or slow progress. Remember, the real win is the daily commitment to your health, moving a little more, making mindful food choices, and staying connected with others. Finally, make regular checkups with your healthcare provider part of your routine. Ask about your risk for blood clots, discuss any new symptoms, and review your medications together. Sometimes, medical conditions or prescriptions can make weight loss or clot prevention more challenging. So it's vital to have that open dialogue with your care team. In the end, the path to better health after 60 is paved with compassion, curiosity, and community. Start small, be gentle with yourself, and reach out for support when you need it. Each positive step you take brings you closer to a stronger, safer, and more joyful future. Stay tuned as we wrap up with a message of encouragement and empowerment, because your journey is just beginning. As we continue our journey together, let's pause and acknowledge something important. Making changes, especially after 60, isn't always easy. Sometimes it feels like the world expects us to overhaul our lives overnight, but real progress, especially with weight and wellness, happens one gentle step at a time. It's normal to face hurdles along the way. Maybe you struggle with old habits, or perhaps you're coping with chronic pain, fatigue, or mobility issues. Maybe you live alone, or find motivation slips on rainy days or during tough seasons. If that sounds familiar, know that you are far from alone. Many have stood right where you are, feeling stuck or even a little discouraged. But let me reassure you, every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory worth celebrating. So, how do you overcome these barriers and keep your momentum going? One of the most powerful tools is setting realistic, achievable goals. Instead of aiming for big, vague promises like, "I'm going to lose 20 pounds," try focusing on daily habits. I'll take a short walk after breakfast, or I'll swap my afternoon soda for a glass of water. Small, repeatable actions are the building blocks of lasting change. And don't be afraid to start tiny. Even standing and stretching during commercial breaks, or parking a little farther from the store, can get your blood moving and help your body stay strong. Another helpful strategy is to turn obstacles into opportunities for creativity. For example, if arthritis or joint pain makes walking hard, consider chair yoga, gentle swimming, or simple stretches. If cooking feels overwhelming, try prepping simple, nutritious meals in advance, or ask a friend or family member to help. Don't forget, laughter is good medicine. Find ways to make movement and healthy eating fun. Play your favorite music while you move, or try a new recipe with a friend over a video call. Sometimes, the biggest hurdle is in our own mindset. It's easy to fall into self-criticism or compare ourselves to others, especially when progress seems slow. But remember, your journey is unique and your efforts are valuable. Instead of focusing on the scale, notice how you feel. Is your energy better? Are you sleeping more soundly? Do your clothes fit more comfortably? Each positive change is proof that your work is paying off. Support from others can be a game changer. Share your goals with a friend, neighbor, or loved one. Having someone to encourage you or simply to check in can make all the difference on days when you're tempted to give up. If you're comfortable, join a group at a local community center or online, where you can swap tips, celebrate milestones, and draw inspiration from each other's stories. You may even find that helping someone else with their journey inspires you to keep going too. Let's not forget about celebrating progress, no matter how small. Finished your first week of daily walks? Treat yourself to something special. Maybe a call with a grandchild, a favorite book, or a new plant for your windowsill. Every achievement is a reminder of your dedication to a healthier future. And if you stumble along the way, that's perfectly okay. What matters is getting back up, dusting yourself off, and taking the next step one at a time. If you find yourself facing a setback, an illness, an injury, or just a tough week, be gentle with yourself. Recover, and remind yourself that health is a lifelong journey, not a race. Your body, your heart, and your spirit are worth every ounce of care and effort you invest. In closing, let's remember, change doesn't have to be dramatic to be meaningful. By overcoming barriers and celebrating every win, you're laying the foundation for a stronger, safer, and more joyful life after 60. Stay with us, because next we'll talk about how your progress can inspire those around you and how sharing your journey might help others step forward on their own path to wellness. Your story is powerful, and your best years are still ahead. Now, as we draw closer to the heart of this conversation, let's explore a truth that often goes unspoken. Every step you take toward better health is not just a gift to yourself, but a powerful act that can ripple out and transform the lives of those around you. You may not even realize the silent influence you carry how your small daily choices, your willingness to keep moving forward, your courage to try again after a setback might be exactly what someone else needs to see or hear. Let's imagine for a moment the people in your circle, perhaps it's your children, your grandchildren, friends, neighbors, or even acquaintances at the local park or community center. Maybe they see you out for a morning walk, or notice how you always have a bottle of water by your side, or hear you mention that you're making healthier food choices. Each of these seemingly ordinary actions plants a seed. You become a living example of what it means to prioritize well-being, even when it isn't easy, even when the world sometimes says, "Why bother?" Your example can speak volumes louder than any lecture, softer than any command, but more persuasive than you might imagine. And it doesn't stop there. When you share your story openly, your successes, your struggles, the things that made you smile, and even the moments that made you want to give up, you create a safe space for others to reflect on their own journeys. It's not about boasting or pretending everything is perfect. It's about being honest, vulnerable, and real. When someone hears, "I've been there too," or "It wasn't easy for me either," but here's what helped. It can break down barriers of fear, shame, or isolation that so many people carry silently. Sometimes, the greatest gift you can offer is simply your presence, inviting a friend to join you for a stroll, sharing a new healthy recipe with a neighbor, or even just offering encouragement to someone who's struggling. Don't underestimate the power of a kind word or a gentle nudge. These moments of connection can be the spark that sets someone else on their own path to better health. Perhaps you remember a time when someone else's actions inspired you. Maybe it was a friend who never missed her morning walks, or a neighbor who bounced back from illness with determination. Their resilience made you believe that change was possible for you too. Now, you have the chance to be that spark for someone else. And while it's wonderful to inspire others, never forget that your journey is valuable on its own. You are worthy of health, energy, and confidence for your own sake, not just as an example to others. Celebrate that. Own it. Let it fill you with pride every time you make a choice that supports your well-being. Let's talk for a moment about the joy that comes from community. If you haven't already, consider joining a group, whether in person or online, of people who share your goals. The shared wisdom, laughter, and support can turn even tough days into moments of hope. Or, if you feel called, start your own group. Invite friends for gentle walks, form a healthy recipe exchange, or even lead a short stretching session before coffee. You'll be amazed at how quickly others join in when someone takes the first step as we near the end of this conversation. Let me remind you, your story is not just about the pounds you may lose, but about the life and inspiration you gain and share. By embracing your journey, you give others silent permission to do the same. Together, step by step, we can build healthier, happier communities and create a legacy that stretches far beyond ourselves. So as you move forward, remember that every healthy habit, every gentle effort, and every bit of encouragement you offer is a light for others to follow. Keep going, keep sharing, and keep inspiring, because the world truly needs more people like you. And as always, your best years are still ahead. As we come to the close of this conversation, I want you to pause for a moment and simply breathe. Just take a deep, slow breath in and out. Let that breath be a gentle reminder. Every single moment is an opportunity to care for yourself, to honor your journey, and to write the next chapter of your story. You know, the path toward better health, especially after 60, isn't about chasing some perfect number on a scale or trying to match someone else's achievements. It's about small, steady steps. It's about choosing day by day to show up for yourself, to listen to your body's wisdom, and to believe that positive change is always possible, no matter where you are starting from and no matter what challenges life brings your way. If you've made it this far in the video, give yourself credit. It takes courage to be curious, to learn something new, and to face health topics that can sometimes feel overwhelming or even discouraging. But that willingness, that spark of curiosity and self-respect is what keeps you moving forward, keeps you growing, and keeps you vibrant, regardless of your age. Now, let's be honest. There will be days when motivation runs low, when old habits feel easier than new ones, or when the voice of self-doubt tries to drown out your hope. On those days, remember this: you are not alone. Every person who has ever changed their health, at any age, has faced setbacks and doubts. What matters most is not perfection, but persistence. Every healthy meal, every walk around the block, every glass of water, every moment you choose self-care over self-criticism, these are victories. These are acts of self-love. And please, don't keep your story to yourself. As we discussed earlier, your journey is a lantern that can light the way for others. Maybe it's your partner who's watching your progress and feeling inspired, or a grandchild who sees you prioritize health and learns what resilience looks like, or a friend who quietly struggles with their own weight and feels less alone because you dared to be open and honest. When we share our victories and even our struggles, we build a community that lifts each other up and reminds us all that we are in this together. So as you turn off this video and go about your day, about one small step you can take right now to move in a healthier direction. Maybe you'll choose to take the stairs instead of the elevator, or invite a friend for a stroll after dinner. Maybe you'll drink another glass of water, or simply pause for a moment to appreciate the strength of your own body. Whatever it is, do it with intention, and let yourself feel proud. And if you ever need a reminder, come back to this space. Our channel is here for you with practical advice, real stories, and a community of people who care. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing, sharing it with friends or family, or leaving a comment below. Your questions and experiences may help someone else find hope or clarity on their own journey. Before we part, let me say this: your best years are not behind you. Every step you take toward better health adds more joy, energy, and connection to the life you're building right now and into the future. You deserve to feel strong, to move with ease, to wake up with purpose, and to know that you are never, ever too old to begin again. Thank you for being here, for being brave enough to care about your well-being, and for sharing your light with the world. Until next time, take good care of yourself and keep shining, because your journey is not just about you, but about all the lives you touch along the way. Stay hopeful, stay inspired, and remember, every healthy step is a victory worth celebrating.